before we get the story straight, is it 14 years?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Block it out.
2005. Yeah.
I'm going to open up with that question. How you guys met?
Yeah.
It'd be good.
We can do
All
that.
right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Brett, Aaron, pleasure to have you guys. Thanks for coming on.
Peyton, glad to be here.
You guys are with Command.app, one of the coolest platform as a service that I've ever seen. Very cool that you guys are in the same building and get to work kind of side by side. And I met you folks a few months back and really like what you guys are doing. And how'd you guys meet in the first place?
So I have a digital media company, I've had for now 18 years, and my partner at the time was hiring a new guy that coming right out of college from Oklahoma State. And I was concentrating on other things, really didn't want to have to deal with a new employee, deal with that side of it. And so he brought on Aaron and quickly understood his work ethic and how he was and who he is as a person, is kind of that roll up the sleeve, get the things done, I'll learn what I can learn. Just really ambitious. Again, coming right out of college, you don't know what you're going to get, especially in the communications field. Again, it was a digital media company. It was not a technology. So having somebody right out of college that had that work ethic, that also had that mentality to learn and want to keep learning and stuff, eventually kind of understood and knew that, okay, this guy's going to stick around. Because we had other employees and other people. And again, my job as the CEO of that company wasn't to get, that personal with the people bringing on board, but eventually to look for that talent that you said, okay, well, this person, they could step up, they could actually be a lot more in the company, and that's my perspective on how we met.
So you moved right up.
Tier. I've actually never heard the background thought process from this guy.
Two different versions.
I'm glad we've got it on camera now.
So you moved up here from Oklahoma.
Yes, so straight out of Stillwater. I'm originally from Manhattan, Kansas.
Okay.
I chose not the Wildcat route and decided to go to Oklahoma State. And after that, a buddy of mine from school and I moved up to Kansas City. We're both Chiefs fans. He's from Tulsa originally. He'd never lived outside of the state, and he said, man, I'll go with you. So we moved up here and throwing my resume out to try to find a job as quick as possible. I freelanced with them for a little bit, and then they decided to take me on, and Brett and I had a relationship ever since, and just a great partner.
Yeah.
The other guy since moved on, and you could tell that there was a bond between us over what we previously had. So
this was a digital marketing company, 10 years ago?
Digital media company, yeah. So
how has that changed?
How's that? Yeah,
From
I mean, look
10
at
years
it.
ago to
Well,
now.
I mean, when I first started that company, it was based on this new tech. I worked for a production company, did everything, was an editor, and I was in charge of new media, was my department. And at that time, new media was CD-ROM.
Wow.
Again, yeah, probably dates myself and everything. But so CD-ROM was this new thing, which couldn't handle video.
Yeah.
And so being at a video production company and being somebody in charge of new media, I was looking for something else that could be a little bit more progressive in the way you handle media. I'd gone out to California at some, they were demoing HD cameras, they were doing all these things. Well, there was also a seminar on DVD, this new thing that nobody really knew about.
What year is this?
Oh my gosh,
Ballpark.
I'd say
9 or something?
like 96 maybe. Wow, okay. It was. Yeah, it was. There was nobody other than entertainment. Entertainment is always kind of the lead into a lot of technology because of the early adoption stuff, and so entertainment was really looking at DVD, kind of driving it. And you also had some governmental type stuff, NASA. Again, I remember sitting in this stuff and watching. They had footage from the space shuttle and other stuff on there. But what I took away from that was this was truly a different way to interact with media. It was a way that was situational, that you didn't have to be. And I was also, back up a little bit, I was also somebody that trained on film as a film editor. came into a video production company and started learning when the new nonlinear editing systems were coming up, which was a different way to go through the editing process. You weren't stuck in this linear editing frame of mind. And so I was kind of freed up to start thinking about media and how to not only build media but also consume media a little bit different back then. So when I saw the DVDs and what was going on there, I was just, this is amazing. This is to where we can actually build a lot more media for the company. And so I came back to Kansas City, came back to my bosses and said, you know, they were all about HD cameras, and they actually had bought the third Sony camera off the line, and which nobody had HD TVs back then. You had nowhere for HD to go. But I said, look, there's this thing called DVD, and it's going to actually double, triple, quadruple your video production, because if you address it at the beginning of a project, you're going to actually say, instead of doing one video we slap on VHS, we can do multiple videos because we can interact with that video, and we can do it situationally to where you can be talking to a surgeon and I'm going to show him something or her something, or be talking to a nurse practitioner and so show him something or her something. And so you got these different ways to consume media and full-on video that wasn't bogged down by CD-ROM and stuff. And they basically said, well, don't worry about it. That's a question at the end of a project. Do you want it on VHS or do you want it on DVD? And that's when I said, you know what, this is a whole different business model.
So they didn't think DVD would take off.
They just had no concept of it. Again, they didn't learn about it. They didn't do whatever. And I didn't have enough pull, being young at that company, to make them say, look, this is a whole other animal. And so I started a company and started competing with them.
Interesting. Wow. And so you came out of Okie State. You came up here. Then so where were you? You said California when you were doing this?
No, so California. I was at a trade show type of a thing, and that's where I saw it. And brought it back to the company I worked for in Kansas City. Spun off, started Barnstorming Inc., which was my company here, and that's where we had hired Aaron to come on board. Like I said, he quickly, not only he had chops on video editing and stuff, but we had to train him, and then one of our other employees trained him on authoring DVDs. And so that was a whole other way, I think, for him, something to learn on the fly. But we were creating these DVDs and these, situational navigation. We were doing UX design before UX design was really a thing that people understood.
And it was really only like Flash websites around, and that was it at the time. So a lot of things have changed since then. And luckily for me, my senior year at Oklahoma State, they pumped a ton of money into the journalism school. And they had a whole new suite of G5 Apple computers with the Apple Final Cut Studio on it. So I learned how to do DVD Studio Pro, Final Cut, After Effects, things like that. So it was a natural fit with these guys. And like you said, one of the editors at the time, he helped me learn a little bit about Studio Pro, and then I kind of kicked it off from there, learned about scripting, buttons.
So you're fairly technical.
Yeah, the back end. The back end portion of everything. So.
That's very important.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how much that's coming into play right now in the past couple of years. Yeah. I mean, just being able to, not being a full-blown developer, but being able just to look behind the curtain, so to speak, when it comes to IT and development. I mean, it gives you, and if you have any interpersonal skills, you can have a really nice position in the tech industry. Yeah.
Well, and I think the other side of that, and again, I think this lends itself from where we came from, the editing and digital media side, is your problem solving. I mean, editing at its core is your problem solving. Basically, you've got this shot and this audio and all this stuff, and how does it all fit together in order to accommodate what a client wants. You're problem solving all along the way, and going after technology and where we're headed is you're just problem solving. And whether or not you can do it yourself or look it up and learn about it or bring on programmers to problem solve that, it's all intertwined in what we do.
So you guys editing commercials, ads?
Yes, everything. Commercials, ads, training, videos,
DVDs,
marketing.
Recruitment, DVDs.
We helped the company build all of their university, Metaflex University. We helped them build all of their training modules on that. All along the way, we kept seeing that the technology, DVD, and then also the internet still was falling short on delivering something that really had a place in the marketplace. And that really is where, early on the blueprints for what is now Command.app started coming into play. We started saying, okay, not only situational selling, situational training, getting the right information at the right time played into it, but also how do you add the other tool sets on there? If somebody's doing selling and wants to send something out, how does that play into it? And we pretty much broke the DVD spec. We were doing stuff at trade shows that on the DVD spec that supposedly couldn't be done. We were pushing that, which is funny. People think that's a hard-coded technology, but we were doing a lot of things with it that technically people didn't think it could be done. So we were always looking to push the envelope and get out there. And so, I think that was always, our trajectory was looking for the way to get to where Command.app is now. And it went away for a while when the internet opened up, and then you had enough bandwidth to deliver videos online. And so we kind of lost a little bit of market share and where we were positioned with DVD, because now a lot of the customers just were like, oh, we'll just throw it on the internet. But even the promise of what was being delivered on the web never quite got there. And definitely the interactivity and how you engage and go after the content still to this day has not gotten there. And then when we were so happy when the tablets came out, we were just, and it was, Apple, we basically as a company kind of said, you know what, we could be back in the game over here, where our expertise lied about being able to handle those complex messages. And so that's when we met and said, okay, if we're going to start reinvesting in technology, is this the track we want to go?
What's Command.app? To the non-tech person.
In layman's term, Command.app is the ultimate digital briefcase. It's a place where all of your reps out in the field, anybody that's engaging with customers on any kind of level, either selling and pre-sell all the way to servicing a product afterwards, they can have all of their materials, everything they need to service or to sell at their fingertips in their mobile device. It's easy to get to. It's not digging through files and folders. Nothing gets lost. It's our proven navigation templates that bring up content. It does it in a way that's contextual, that's situational, and it follows a logical path how it brings it up. And it just makes people more efficient when they're engaging with customers. Yeah,
it's super slick. I had a buddy who sold office furniture, very successful at it. So we would go into a big corporate office and show 50 different office chairs that you could buy, 50 different desks, 50 different types of phones. And he had a giant 3-ring binder, 100 pages deep, and you had to flip to and show a different product.
Or the anti-3-ring binder.
Right. This is the anti-3-ring binder.
Yes.
That's really how I'm looking at it. Is it only for product selling, or have you found, do you guys have clients that are service-based?
I do have clients that are service-based.
And how does that, because really what I'm seeing is it's a wheel of products that you can put on the app. How does that work when it comes to a service?
Well, a lot of our clients have case studies of solutions that they offer. They have products that they offer. They have, services that they offer. It's not just a presentation of things. It's more than that. And what we've done is we've created these tool sets that lie on top of the platform, so you don't have to have 5, 6, 7 different apps to get all the things you want done when you're meeting with someone or you're engaging with a potential customer or a current customer. You're able to present materials, capture information on the fly, and you're also able to deliver that information immediately. You don't have to say, hey, when I get back to the office, I'll find that file that I was talking about and I'll email it to you. And then 3 weeks later, you're like, man, forgot to give Jeff email him that file. You can do it on the app at the time of presenting, works on or offline, and it sets it up queued. If you're offline, queued up, and once you're back on Wi-Fi or any type of data, boom, it shoots it out.
So sales guy Jim is driving to the meeting, and he needs Barry in marketing. As he's going to the meeting, Barry in marketing sent him the new quote, the new attachment, and you can put it in the app in real time, so then when he goes into the meeting and presents, it's in the application.
Yep. Barry in marketing could be back at the home office update it, deploy it out to all the salespeople across the country or across the globe. Everybody has the most current information at their fingertips at that time. So
we've had times we've been actually working with customers that have a trade show. They're actually at the trade show setting up, and something has changed. The spec sheet has changed, or something was wrong.
And that's not going anywhere. The instant changes that were going
on. No, they're spending tens of thousands of dollars on print materials.
Yeah, I mean, we've had literally in the past, I mean, we've been at a trade show supporting, this is back on the media days, supporting clients, and they have trashed, I mean, like,
thousands
of dollars of bad print material, and then rush over to FedEx and did new stuff because somebody found a typo that was significant.
You could even say you guys are going green.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's the other beauty of it. And again, that's one of the things.
You're eco-friendly.
That's a good point. Yeah.
When we go to trade shows now, it's amazing that when you go by a booth, especially when they're handing out paper and stuff, if you go around the corner, I guarantee you, there's a trash can that's overflowing with that material.
Just crap back there.
Yeah, and it's amazing that companies not only going green, but I mean, companies are paying for this, and I mean, it's for what? Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you're just killing trees and filling up trash cans.
Yeah.
Who came up with?
We're not anti-print companies,
right?
Yes.
No, yeah.
No, I think there's a good partnership with us and with potential print companies. Some people are going to want a piece of paper.
Tool.
It's another tool, and being able to offer the digital aspect as well as the tangible aspect, it's a win-win for both.
Who came up with digital briefcase? Is that proprietary?
It's TM.
We do have it trademarked.
We have it trademarked. Yes.
I like that a lot.
Stuff. Yeah. Again, it was a byproduct, and just as somebody that's, problem solving and building a platform, we get lost in the weeds of what it does, as opposed to what the benefit is for somebody. And I think we kept struggling because it can do so many things. Mm-hmm. Struggling to how do you quickly, that elevator pitch, if you will, how do you quickly wrap the essence of it around it where somebody's like, oh, I get that. Mm-hmm. Again, it's not a simple app. It's not something like, where to take your dog for a walk type of app. I mean, it's B2B and it has all these different things. And so that's, actually I think we had the sales guy come on, and I think he was just like, oh my God, I wish I had this, because I had this giant briefcase I had to haul around when I was flying and traveling, and we're just like, oh, it's the digital briefcase, and just kind of stuck. Digital toolbox is another one for more of the industrial companies.
Yeah, we have a lot of manufacturing companies as our clients, so that speaks to them a little bit more when you use toolbox in there.
With recruiting, our product is the human being. Mm-hmm. And, we're seeing LinkedIn really taking over the identity of the candidate instead of it being the classic resume, because we've all seen great resumes and really poor candidates behind those great resumes. And so it's good to see as much as you can on the front end about the candidate. And I was thinking in my head, because I saw, if you go to the front page of your website, you have the tractors that are going around the circle.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what if we could go to a meeting and say, here are our Java developers, here are our techs.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's got a full body picture of them, and then you click them, it pulls up their resumes, some of their key skills, their key attributes. It's almost like a video game, the way you're like picking your player.
Yeah. It is. It's
so
the choose your own adventure.
The choose your own adventure books.
Yeah.
That was always kind of our thing of like, you're making decisions along the way. I mean, you mentioned the human element, and so, this doesn't replace salespeople and sales reps out in the field. I mean, this actually empowers them because it gives them enough autonomy to interact, turn a presentation into a conversation, to have that engagement, and then bring up the right content. And it's set up that way. I can't tell you how many times we've talked to customers where they've had kind of the rogue salesperson, out there building their own PowerPoints. Well, they're doing that because they're not being supplied with what they believe is the right stuff from marketing, because they're living it day to day. They're talking to somebody, and they don't want to look at whatever slide that marketing tells them to look at on, slide number 3, because they're talking to somebody and they're like, oh, well, that's not relevant to this person. How do I get to slide number 8? And so you had this happening out there, and that's where we said, look, it's got to be nonlinear. You got to be able to, read and react on the fly, and that is built into our navigation templates, is the ability to do that. And what salespeople love is it allows them to be people
Yeah.
and to be engaged and bring up that right content at the right time. Marketing loves it because they do have control on the back end. They can control the brand. They can control the messaging and how it's delivered. They just don't know the sequence of which it's delivered, and that's up to the salesperson, and it should be.
How do you go from having a digital media company where you have multiple clients across multiple industries, editing commercials, building their brand, to going, all right, let's have a software, an application that is our product?
Right.
Or is it okay to say that
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
product?
It's product.
Well,
Like,
it's
how
that.
did you go from that to just, because now you have this one thing that's your baby.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this stems back to why we created the company on DVD. I mean, originally, the side story to why we created Barnstorming and why it's actually named Barnstorming back then was money's always in product. It's something that you could sell and do overnight and what have you. Service-based industries, you got to do it. It's part of it, but you're only as good as your next client. And that's a tough, owning a company for so long, it's a tough road to go. And then once, the whole SaaS model came out, platform as a service, PaaS models, all those things, it really is a completely different business model to where you can create something once and then you can continually just provide that, let the technology be the product,
Right.
if you will, and then it's scalable on a different level. So it's all about scalability.
Why is SaaS and PaaS and these blank as a service, why is that so popular right now? I mean, I'm hearing it every day.
Right.
Just about. We're having salespeople coming up to us and saying, we want to position.
Well, SaaS company.
We want to sell SaaS.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, I don't know. I just feel like it's really starting to ramp up in the past 6 months. I'm hearing it literally daily.
There's benefits to a company. There's benefits to an investor. There's benefits to a recipient of that. I mean, that's kind of where there's no easy answer to that. I think there's.
Okay, let me ask you this. How does let's use a household product that's non-IT, like Coca-Cola or Sonic or McDonald's or Yeti, I don't know, pick it, that is now trying to be a software as a service business.
Right. So let's take what we had in the past with, let's just randomly say Microsoft Office.
Okay.
So you have PowerPoint, you have Excel, Word, Dreamweaver was in there back in the day, I think, and a couple others. You have that, you're going to go out and buy the Microsoft Office suite, and you're going to spend $500 for a CD-ROM. You're going to pop it into your computer. You have one serial number, and you buy it for life.
Yep.
And maybe I only want to use Microsoft Word for 6 months. I'd rather pay $10 a month, $60, rather than make the investment of $500 for that. So people kind of want to use it while they want to use it, and then have the ability to leave it when they want. And so it's kind of that. For lack of a better description, you're going to buy a car outright, or you're going to do your monthly payments on that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it comes down to. And then it's instantaneous. So the advent of faster streaming, higher bandwidths, these online companies, you don't have to necessarily download the software, bog down your system. Things run in a web browser now. And so instead of having to install these different applications on your computer,
storage filling up,
it's running on a web browser, and you're using it that way.
So it's an alternative way of selling one's products or services.
Right.
Well, not only selling, but I think in terms of SaaS in general, there's twofold. There's one, that the fact that, again, like our platform. I mean, so for our platform, if a company came to us as if we were just programmers, developers, we were going to build them a custom app. They'd end up spending, $150,000, $500,000 to do all the functionality that Command.app does. And I guarantee you they'd have to keep spending money for that. And it's only their vision, their experiences that are built into that and baked into that. If they're buying a SaaS or a PaaS model like us,
they can customize it to exactly what their storefront looks like.
A fraction of the cost they can get in.
Yep.
It doesn't take any development time to get up and running.
We handle the updates.
We handle all that stuff, and they benefit from this collective knowledge of all the other companies we deal with. I mean, we may be working with, Link Belt is one of our clients, and so they're large equipment manufacturing company and stuff, and they have certain needs and certain things that they do, and there's certain tool sets and navigation templates that are built in for their model. We also have medical device companies. But medical device companies, they may not think that they could learn anything from the large equipment manufacturing, but I guarantee you the way that they sell, the way they have to explain a complex product, there's nuances in there. And these templates and designs that can go both ways, and they can benefit from that. So
it makes perfect sense to be able to go into an operating room with an iPad, if you're selling medical devices, and scroll and flick through, and then you select an item, and you can go into the guts of it and find out what that item's about, instead of bringing the physical product to the operating room from that doctor. And it's that I feel like that model is going to go away quickly.
Yeah.
And so, do you guys have a lot of competitors in this space?
We have some limited competition, as anybody does. If we didn't, then we probably wouldn't be worth
No,
the damn.
competition's good.
Yeah, competition's great.
Yeah.
They offer some other things that we don't, but we excel in the tool set portion, the situational selling. I mean, hell, Google situational selling, we're number one in Google.
What's situational selling?
Situational selling is the way to address all of your complexities that your company offers, present it in a situational way that the buyer wants to actually interact with what they specifically want.
A good example is you said medical device stuff. So medical companies, when they go and sell and go into, getting their product into a hospital, it's not like you go talk to one person and they say yes and they sign on the dotted line. You have to, there's influencers who have to actually agree to have that product in there. There's decision makers. So you have all these variables in the context of making a decision to bring a product into a hospital. So as a salesperson, you got to go in there and you have to sell to all those different people. You have to go in and say, you know what, with this device, a nurse practitioner, all they care about is ease of use. So I need to have a message, a fully baked message to talk to that person and get them on board. And then I need to go talk to a surgeon who's responsible for the clinical nature of bringing that product in. So, and I need to have the science behind it. So you have all these different talking tracks, if you will, that you got to be able and flexible enough to go in and convince somebody to say, yeah, this is the right product to bring into this hospital. The other thing is you have limited time. You mentioned you go into an operating room. I mean, there's literally times where you're catching a surgeon or somebody getting ready to go into the operating theater. Yeah. You got 30 seconds. Yeah. What are you going to do? And, oh, by the way, the Wi-Fi sucks at hospitals. Yeah. So you got to be able to be offline. That's where our product can do that. You can show video, can bring all that stuff up offline. So again, it's that sort of situational selling, to be able to be flexible and nimble enough to quickly address any question or concern instantly. That really is about the situational aspect of it.
Yeah.
Is this your guys' first business that you've each owned and operated?
Other than barnstorming for him.
Yeah, this is my second one.
Yeah.
How is...
I had some other ones.
Yeah. It's your first.
Yes.
So Command.app's 5 years old. And you've been there since day one.
Yes.
What did the first 12 months look like with Command.app, and what compared to the last 6 months of Command.app?
Okay.
Spinning out of a need from the other company, we were very pragmatic, and that's maybe it's that our Midwest upbringing stuff to where, and maybe not understand the whole VC stuff, to where we wanted to prove that the model worked before we just went and said, oh, well, give us a bunch of money, let's go out and do it.
Yeah. So let's dump a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, let's dump a whole bunch of money.
I've never been in this whole VC thing. It's it's almost like a trendy thing to do. In order to start a business, you need all this money to back it. I think it's bullshit. Yeah, to be honest.
Well, it's a hard road.
You're just going to work for somebody else again.
That's true. Yeah. We've bootstrapped up until now, and we've put our own blood, sweat, tears, and money back into the company.
And it was really to prove that there was a need. I mean, again, it was one of those things to say, one of the first apps that we built was custom. It was for Caterpillar. We built a custom app that, we built in 2 weeks. We knew that they would need it. We built it before we sold it. And then, again, I think the cutting edge that we've always lived on, again, going back to the DVD stuff, we always sold stuff before people knew what they needed. But in doing so, what we decided to do is say, okay, well, let's take our time. We're not going to just throw this out in the market and start going from there. It's like, let's take some of our current clients that we know needed it. Let's build out the model. Let's make sure that they need it, and start really take a very pragmatic approach of building out this platform. And we built it. I always say that what's different from us and the competitors is they all look at it from the back end. You have all these web developers, you have all CRM companies, everybody that's all about the back end. The problem is what we saw was it's about the customer engagement. Yeah. So we approached it from that of like, let's figure that out, and then we'll back in to how to manage the content, how to do all the other stuff, how to give the tools for the marketing to update it. Because if that, you spend all the time and money developing a machine or what have you, you do all the training materials, you do everything, and then if it comes down to the point of a rep interacting with the customers, if they can't talk about that product, you've wasted all of that.
Yeah.
So we said, well, let's start there. Let's make sure that the way that you engage and talk about a product is successful, and then we'll back into the rest.
Well, and I'm thinking also because obviously I've been with a big corporate company that the sales training was very intense, and when everybody hears about these companies where they ship them off to a training center for a couple weeks or a month or whatever, and they have to learn the product inside out. I mean, with this, you could literally have your salespeople sitting in bed and they're digging around on the app and they're discovering everything they know about the product that they're selling, not only during business hours, but they're going to play with it at home when they're tinkering around with the app. Yeah. So the learning on the inside with the sales team, that's tremendous as well. Yeah. How much time is that saving? I mean,
months.
Medical device.
Yeah.
I mean, because most of those people they're salespeople. They're
right.
comm degrees and business degrees, and so they have to go learn the in and outs of some $500,000 medical device that they're selling, and they probably have to get around it to physically bring that product in and learn all about it, where they could just do it through your guys' app.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
that's pretty sweet.
And our app does
bring up Scania here.
I mean, we have a client, engine manufacturer.
Yeah.
They build Scania is their name, and they do
Scania.
They used to own Saab.
Okay.
Yeah, so
big industrial engines.
Huge in Europe. And
Yeah.
They make engines and mining trucks in Europe.
Oh, interesting.
And basically, they had a trade show, and they said, "Look, we have a trade show coming up. We have new salespeople we just hired for it. The conversation, once you get down to the product level, could get pretty deep. We need spec sheets and all this other stuff. Can you build this in a way that's intuitive to where all they have to do is memorize patterns?" And again, that situational selling. So I can talk to you and say, are you in agriculture? Great. Now the app is actually narrowing down the product selection based on agriculture. And then you click on that, and then it's set up in these, again, the templates to where you've got the support stuff around the product, and you have other deep dive information next to it. You run through it once, and it's really intuitive of where that information lies. And so you can, again, once you start doing that, these newbie sales reps can get in there, and all they had to do is memorize a pattern, and the app is bringing up the content that has all the relevance, and then you're just letting the people read it or engage with that content.
Yeah, first time they're using this, you're using it at a trade show with salespeople that have been around the company for 12 years, or salespeople that have been around there for 12 months, and they're able to navigate and present materials that we literally help them take from 3 massive 3-ring binders, put into one app, and those binders went away.
Yeah, we definitely.
Super
that was.
efficient.
I mean, it's crazy the thud factor that when we literally did this, we got all of their print materials that went into that app. We got all that material. We had 3D animations, which obviously couldn't make it a physical thing, but it was. I mean, it was a huge mound of stuff that they were used to hauling around. And all that went into the app, and it was amazing. And typically what happens is they go there, and all of a sudden it's at a trade show, and the salespeople are like, why don't we have this out in the field? What's going on?
And they're on the 4th year with us.
Yeah, they're one of our early adopters.
They've been around with us. They're not going anywhere. They believe in the product as much as we do. They've shown the results, the ROI on everything, and we have the analytics on the back end to track it. So they're happy. We're happy.
Well, that's the other cool thing about the analytics that you mentioned is the fact that we're pulling what all the various people are,
Yeah.
how they're engaging with customers.
Speaking of customers,
Yeah.
There's our customer.
here's the customer relations team right here.
That is-
This is Coco.
It's Coco. 3 pounds?
She's 3 pounds, and she's 7 years old. So
And
stop by her office anytime,
Yeah.
and you can pet her.
Brett and Davis her bed is on the desk.
She has
Right
an upper deck and a lower
She's
deck.
got 2 beds.
Yes.
I mean, that's your number one salesperson right
yes,
there.
she is. Yeah, she's definitely keeping the clients happy.
What kind of dog is that?
She is a Lhasa Apso, Maltese, Yorkie, and Chihuahua. And so she was a runt. Nobody wanted her.
Uh-huh.
And so we said, what the hell, we'll take her.
You're a big guy, Aaron.
I'm a big guy.
Is this your?
Takes a real man to have a dog this small. Yes.
Obviously, you have a very nice relationship with each other. I
Yes,
can see it.
my wife says it's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Because she will not go more than 10 feet from me.
Were you hesitant before you got her about getting?
So it was before I had 3 kids.
Okay.
And I told my wife, she was always been an animal lover. I said, a dog's a big responsibility.
Uh-huh.
But I remember going to Brett and his previous partner. I sat down with them. I said, guys, I've got a serious question I need to ask you.
Yeah, his serious questions are always.
I said, we're thinking about getting a puppy. Can I bring her into the office? And they're like, man, I thought you had something serious. Yes, fine. Yeah, you can. Doesn't matter. We've always been a dog-friendly office, and Brett's known her since day one. And
Yeah,
part of the
it's
team
funny.
now.
You'll go in there and Aaron will be working and she'll be sleeping on his shoulder
yes,
as he's working. And
that's
doing
what she
stuff.
does. She's a good puppy.
So to piggyback off that, kind of talk about maybe what it is like on the inside of Command.app and the culture and the team that you're trying to build. Is that something that's on top of the priority list? How is that evolving too?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, culture's always huge in any company. I don't care what you're doing. And part of that is, again, it always stems from the co-founders and what you're doing. But it also, people that come into it bring a certain amount of culture themselves. Us going back into my previous company and then with Command.app going kind of back into startup mode, if you will, redefining, rebuilding up what the culture is. Our big piece of it is, and what's nice again about technology is the fact that it's about personal responsibility. I mean, we're really flexible in the way that we respect the work-life balance, which is hard sometimes in technology because you have deadlines, you have different things that are happening, but you also have people that like working off hours, and that's just the nature of who they are. And quite frankly, I'm kind of like that at times. And the other thing is having a family and having that life balance of, there's a PTA meeting, I've got to leave early for that, or my kid's got a soccer game. As long as you're getting the work done, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand, that old mentality. And again, my dad had a tunnel contracting business, and I worked for him for a long time, not only doing down in the ditches, doing the hard stuff, but also running the books and the other parts of the company. And I quickly saw that, no fault to him, but it was that 9 to 5 mentality, and that you just saw it wear and grind on people.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I said, if I have a company, then there's got to be some sort of benefit in the fact of letting people, be in charge of their own hours. Obviously, you always, with any employees, if they start to abuse it, you just let them know.
Yeah.
And they get it,
Yeah, I think that's something that we constantly are trying to figure out the sweet spot of, is like living this work-life balance where you have freedom and autonomy, but we're still running a business, and you got to produce. But I don't want to micromanage you.
Right.
But you got to produce. I want you to go live your life and have fun and enjoy yourself, and you can work remotely as long as you produce.
You produce,
Yeah.
So it's hard to find that, and I think that is being questioned and tinkered with so much right now because we are way more efficient than we've ever been. Things that took us an hour to do 5-10 years ago take us 5 minutes.
Well, everybody's so connected and online
So connected.
all the time. And that kind of goes back to the SaaS model, is no matter what, if I'm going to be late into the office, Brett's the early riser, he's the go-getter, he's up when the sun rises, I'm the night owl that will stay up till 2 in the morning, doing what needs to get done. But we're a good yin and yang that hey, we're both working to the end goal. We know that the project needs to get finished. Doesn't matter how long it takes. And I mean, being able to be connected, it's a good thing and a bad thing.
Well, the way you guys operate, I can tell you're on the same page.
Yes.
All the time, just like you're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Well, the other side of that too is the fact of getting people that have that mentality. I mean, our goal is not to, again, just punch a clock and go 9 to 5. Our goal is to build, the ultimate digital briefcase in the context of what we deliver to clients, but to keep doing that. I mean, ultimately we want to be in, you'll go into a coffee shop, into Starbucks, you'll be seeing somebody do business over a Command app. You'll actually go out to, a job site and somebody will be using a Command app. You'll be going to a boardroom and somebody will be using a Command app doing a big presentation. You'll do a TED Talks and somebody will be talking about some great medical breakthrough, and they'll be using a Command app to do that. I mean, that's our ultimate goal, is to be that. And so in order to get there, you've got to have those people that are willing to put in the time and put in the effort to be a part of that. Again, in the context of what Aaron said, you go do something during the day and you want to stay late, or work from home late at night, that's what happens. But it's people that have that vision and have that goal in mind that you want on board to where we're at is, to really change, and really change the way businesses communicate. And you've got to have those people that see that larger, vision, that are putting in the time, because what we've seen in the past, you get the people on board that are doing that, and if somebody's not, they just stand out as somebody that wants to, go get a big corporate job. Yeah. Go do that. If you want to be part of something special, then and have that work ethic, then that's the type of place we have.
You're gonna have the right mentality.
You do
when you're with the startup. It's a do whatever you takes mentality, not of comfy, cozy routine.
Yeah.
And again, and all for it. I get people like that, and that's amazing and stuff. And I've got family members like that. Just in my DNA, I've never been like that, and that's one of the things I think my other company I had to learn early on is that work ethic. And I'd mentioned back in our relationship where Aaron had that and got that. Our other employees at that time had that and got that. But we also had a lot of employees that didn't have that. And you just wanted them to get it, and they never would. I mean, that's one of those things, in hindsight.
I don't ever expect anybody to be like us.
Yeah, right. It's no fault to them.
No.
If you're not going to cut it, you're not going to cut it, and it's time to just move on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of other companies that's perfect fit.
Yeah, I mean, we both sit behind a desk every day, but you'll still see blue collars on our shoulders.
Right. Yeah. Well, how beautiful is that we have a marketplace in this country where you can pick any lifestyle job.
Yeah.
To choose
you really
from.
can.
It's
changed
so special.
Much,
yeah. I just watched a video. I go into the deep corners of YouTube. But,
have you found the edge of the internet yet?
I have not. There is no edge. It's infinite.
Yes.
And I just watched one today. They call it digital nomads. And people who, it was mostly Europeans. It was a German guy and a Slovenian guy, and they travel to countries about one to 2 months at a time. They don't have any citizenship anywhere. And if they do, they have to pay taxes to that country. But a lot of them just declare unregistered. And they basically, they'll stay in hostels or WeWork spaces, but European nation version. And they blog, or they do kind of like some grunt work for...
About that country?
No.
Or
they'll
just moving and moving?
They'll travel. Because what they're trying to accomplish is travel while they're working. So they're on a hammock in Bali, and they're doing like SEO optimization for a company because a company wants to know, how many people in Colombia eat Snickers or something. Yeah. So they'll do some research, and so they call it, there's so many different things you can do. It's freelancing. Yes. That's what it is. Yeah. And so there's different skill sets in freelancing.
Who are these guys? I need to find
digital nomads.
I like you, and we've been working together for years, but sounds pretty sweet.
They're saying by 2035, there will be 1 billion digital nomads in the world.
Well, the whole WeWork space and that whole phenomenon, what's going on now. I mean,
it's incredible.
Again, that's one of those... You would have thought of that.
It's for some people.
10,
it's
15
not
years.
for everybody. Yeah.
So, what do you think will get Command app to be a national brand name.
Right.
Can you see the runway of how to get there?
Yeah, we wouldn't be here putting in what we're putting in if we didn't. And we have great wives and great families that understand.
Yes, we do.
Understand what we're doing. They believe in the product as much as we do, and they've got our backs 100%. I mean, honestly, for us, we've got great clients. We just want to expand our portfolio of different verticals that we've gotten into. We have pretty much right now 7 different verticals that we've attacked, whether it's from manufacturing to sports venues to home remodeling to medical device sales to agriculture and chemical, but we want to expand that. I mean, the opportunity is endless.
Yeah.
And Command.app isn't just a national brand, it's a global brand. And it's possible already because we do have some international clients that are using the product. And
that's incredible that you guys are in these other countries.
Yeah, it's I mean, and we can watch the analytics happen on the back end and say, man, this guy's using it in Dubai, this guy's using it in the Netherlands, and talking with one of our clients out of Ireland. Sometimes
it's a little tough.
Sometimes it's hard to understand a little bit. I'm like, are you sure you're speaking English? The Queen's English, really? But I mean, we have great clients across the globe, and I mean, just getting that message out, hiring the right sales and marketing team to continue to grow that brand.
Yeah, it's just all about scalability. And you'd mentioned SaaS and PaaS and stuff. That's what's great about having a technology to ride on, because when you're ready, then really it becomes just money and resources to scale it. Yep. And that's the position where we're at right now. We've proven the model. We've proven the different categories and how we want to scale. We've been working on process, all the other stuff that you do on the back end. And now it's going after investment to scale it, to hire new employees, to get the sales force really rocking and kicking, to get our implementation teams to just keep stamping them out. And so on that level, it really becomes like a product, if you will, where you're just an assembly line where you're stamping them out as you go. Somebody's selling the product, and then the back end is stamping them and go, because then the technology can support that sort of growth.
All right, is there any specific focus on Kansas City companies? I mean, it's almost like you've leapfrogged.
We don't discriminate.
Right. But like what I'm saying, like is there we need to make Kansas City our number one client base?
Yeah, I mean,
we
early
love
on,
Kansas City. We're not moving from Kansas City.
Right.
We would definitely give every Kansas City company here, the first shot at having their Command app.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because that's one of the things. I remember the day that was kind of the point when we were again, testing and doing feasibility aspects of selling it and what we were doing. The business plan was like, we'll work on the Midwest, a 7-state region. We'll try to go after and sell that and whatnot. And then we got the call. The company down in Austin, Texas, found us on the literally at that time stumbled across us on the internet. Called, we did a demo online, and then closed the deal within a week. A $30,000 deal. And that's when we said, okay, well, not only do we have something, but forget about the borders, forget about what's going on. And as we kept pushing it out there, to Aaron's point, we had, we'd have to stay late. The hours shifted and stuff, but doing demos with companies in Australia, doing those things online. That's what's the beauty of not only the technology, our technology, but other technologies is, are doing the demos online. To get online and to be talking to, I'd say 80% of our customers we've never seen.
Never met.
Face to
face. Yeah.
Kind of that old school of selling and engaging with customers.
But they always know we're a phone call away.
Yeah.
And they don't have a problem with that, or an email.
We talk to and engage with them as humans, and not, again, that's where we're different than just a flat out SaaS, to where they're just engaging with a front end website, what have you.
And they go to a help site and go, oh, damn, this answer isn't on here. I've got to email help@Command.app.com. Okay, well, that sucks. I'll probably get an answer back in 24 hours.
Right.
They can email us and let us know, okay, I have a question about this. Nothing's broken. Just have a question about this. How do I do this? How do I do that? And we'll respond in a timely manner.
Right. nothing gets broken because the template, the bones are all the same and they're solid.
It's a stable platform.
So you'll never have that problem.
Right.
Or at least hope not.
Yes.
No, it's always
knock on this nice, beautiful wood table.
The majority of those conversations are somebody coming and saying, well, can I do this?
Yeah.
Again, and you're hearing somebody on the front lines that are just like, hey, and that is our, typically it's like, you know what, it's on our roadmap, it's coming. And I guess, going back to when we started building and talking about this and it goes back to the days where we said we often knew what our customers needed before they did. It's the same thing with our platform. It's rocking, it's solid, it's got all these tool sets. On our roadmap, so much more right now that we know our clients need, and they may not even know that they need it. That's what keeps me going. That's what keeps us going.
Yeah.
Of always improving and adding onto the platform, because we know there's various ways that it just goes to our experience of working with these different complex companies of what they need. So the roadmap of what we're excited about is always adding these different tool sets to the platform.
And back to your question about SaaS, I mean, that kind of comes full circle there. Why is SaaS a thing, and who cares about it, and why? When you have a tangible object like a cup or something, to add a handle to this, you either have to manufacture something that goes on the cup or you have to remanufacture the cup. With SaaS, with the software as a service, you're able to just bolt on pieces of code that work in your platform and continue to enhance it. And we're able to do that agilely, if that's a word, in an agile fashion.
And by the way, it works on all platforms.
And it works on all platforms, Microsoft, Android, and iOS. That was a big thing for us to overcome.
Yeah, that was a big investment.
From our early clients to the clients we have now. They wouldn't sign deals with us until we were available on all the different platforms. And
that also proves a lot of legitimacy.
Yes.
So you have the technical prowess to get on all those platforms, which is a damn hard thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Because they don't like playing
They
nice
don't talk
with
to
each
each other.
They don't. They do not.
They don't.
Well, okay, last one here. What stops an Amazon or Microsoft coming across Command.app and wow, this is pretty slick? Well, my developers can make the same thing. We're just going to come out with Amazon Command.app.
Good luck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of knowledge.
And quite frankly, that's over the years, and that's why when we started developing it, that was the big question: is like, why are we the ones to do this? You got all these giant companies out there to do it, and we kept waiting for another company to come solve that problem. And what we but we came to understand over the years was we understand the needs of our customers from the digital media side, from having the other company, from living the headaches and dealing with it from day to day with all these larger manufacturing companies, what have you. We knew what they struggled with. And to my earlier point about it wasn't, we would consult with companies and what was the right CRM system. I mean, we were consulting with them on how to handle digital media, how to organize it, how to get it ready, and what platforms they could use that were out there. We'd consult and recommend different things. And we kept waiting for somebody else to solve this problem.
To deploy their videos.
Yeah.
They spent tens of thousands of dollars on these videos and these amazing things that we were creating for them collaboratively with these companies. They're like, hey, we're going to throw it on Spring CM. Is that a good one? We just bought a contract for $150,000. Is that a good one? Like, maybe you should have done your own research.
And they kept signing these big contracts with somebody to solve the issue, and we'd go and talk to their people. And again, you'd have, we always say we bridge the gap between marketing and sales, because more often than not, marketing and sales in a lot of these bigger companies do not get along. And part of that issue is sales is like, we don't have the materials. Marketing is like, we kept giving them to you, but they're lost in files and folders. So that really became the crux of like, okay, we need to start figuring this out, because nobody else is going to do it. And so that's what I speak to is like, we were worried about that stuff. You're always worried about competition coming in and throwing tons of money at something.
Right.
But nobody's been able to figure it out yet. And we're confident in what we do and how we know our customers.
I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah, we're stoked about it.
Anything you guys want to touch on or get out there?
I got one last piece. You know, I've never been a salesperson. I come from a sales family. My brother is a salesman.
A good salesman.
A very good salesman. My dad's been doing it for almost 50 years. Very successful guy. And I still remember my dad's quote, is nothing happens until somebody sells something. And what we're doing is not just enabling, because that's kind of like a key word nowadays. We're not enabling salespeople, because sales enablement tools are enabling them to continue to potentially do
more business.
Like, no, if you're enabling them to do something that they're currently doing, which might not be the best practice version of that, what we are is a customer engagement tool. And we are beyond sales enablement. We're the customer engagement portion, where we've actually built a UX, a back end where everybody can actually use the tool, get on the same page, to Brett's point, bridge the gap between sales and marketing, and become a unit again in a company rather than one versus the other. And all we're doing is just being the conduit for that. We're not here to
replace anybody,
right. Nickel and dime. We're not here to replace the CRMs that you've already spent
so I'm assuming
millions of dollars on.
Is that some pushback you're getting that you've gotten? If are you going to replace me with this tool?
No, I don't think it's pushback, but it's what we learned as more we talk to customers is a byproduct of what was happening. You know, again, we didn't sell or didn't even talk to customers that way, but we quickly learned by feedback from them was, oh, well, finally our marketing and sales are talking to each other. And the reason why is they had a reason. You know, just like if you built like a asset management system, if you're doing that in a void just to manage assets with no place for them to go,
you're just throwing it in a big bucket.
Yeah, you're just doing some sort of different way of files and folders or searchability or what have you. The fact that you needed something that was actually, you know, was a high impact customer engagement piece that was happening over here, that was the crux of, okay, well, sales loved it, and marketing now had a reason and a place for that content to go. And so now they were talking. Because they had the keys to do that, to drive that.
Excellent. No, it makes sense. I like it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't bring you guys in if I didn't.
Back to what you said, how do we scale from here? Watch this podcast, follow Aux on YouTube. There
we go.
Subscribe.
Right on.
And that's
how can people get in contact with you, or if they're interested in an inquiry about Command.app?
Hit our website at command-app.com, or we own the .app domain, which is huge. We bought that once Google bought that a couple years ago. They finally launched it last year. Just Google Command.app. It'll take you straight to our website and hit a demo. Or contact us. So, awesome. Command.app Revolution. Thanks for having us, man.
Thank you. That's awesome.
We got it.
Thank you. All righty. Okay. That was excellent, fellas.
How long was it?
Too long.